Alright, this video is actually going under two categories. One being a rage quit review, but more appropriately a what I should have missed instead of what I've missed. Because I really should have just missed this game. I shouldn't have gone back and tried it out. I bought this game, NeverDead, off a former coworker who sold me a lot of his PS3 games, and I was kind of excited to try it out one night around my homework. Spent all day doing work, decided it was time to play a game. It was going to be a nice break from Destiny and a good chance to try something new. Let's just say I would have rather done more work. While some may struggle to see how I even remotely make this connection, I kind of feel that NeverDead is Konami's attempt at recreating some of the success from the Devil May Cry franchise, which had its recent DMC Devil May Cry release, which did quite well. I'm a huge fan of third-person action-adventure or spectacle fighter games like God of War, Devil May Cry, etc. But NeverDead just left me so disappointed. The gameplay initially feels really exciting, but then it doesn't go any deeper. The introduction just flat out didn't make a whole lot of sense, and the game just has this huge sense of immaturity, as if the game itself is a bad joke on the whole. Your first moment of control in NeverDead features you as the protagonist, Bryce Boltzmann, a righteous demon hunter, with his wife, who in the intro looks similar to Kat from DMC Devil May Cry, Cypher Boltzmann. You're here to fight this frog king demon thing that feels like it was pulled right out of an anime. Game mechanics seem pretty exciting at this point, however, and remind me a bit of Too Human on the Xbox 360, but they don't end up going any more complex than the introduction shows you, pretty much. You have two guns, which you can fire at your enemy. You also have melee attacks with this giant sword on your back. You can jump and dodge, and, well, that's about it. Fast forward to the core gameplay, and a zombie mechanic is also introduced. By this I mean, the only way that you can die is if your head is swallowed and digested by a specific type of demon. Otherwise, the damage you take simply removes your limbs. You can either reattach these limbs by dodge rolling over them, or just regrow them after a specific amount of time. There are varying enemy types, although they're all easy to kill, environmental destruction and damage, as well as XP points, which you can use to upgrade your weapons and skills. Again, this sounds really exciting at first, but it gets very repetitive and dull after just 30 minutes or less. Honestly, most of the game seems like it could be played almost exclusively with the sword. Just run up to an enemy and swing. Down they go. Since you have no health to worry about, you can even just run up to the spawners that spawn all the enemies and cut them down and ignore all the enemies that are attacking you. The XP system involves finding these secret little puzzle pieces scattered throughout the map, except they basically just kind of line your way from point A to point B and aren't really hidden in any way at all. The hardest to find one that I ran into was behind a tree. In the couple of hours that I put into NeverDead before giving up on it, I went from holy crap, this is awesome in the intro combat to I'm really sick of this and I never want to play it again. The whole introduction to NeverDead was just a poorly thought out, or at least poorly executed mess. The game opens with a scene of Agent Maximil, your completely incompetent and perfectly troped damsel in distress sidekick, going from Kill Bill badassness with a machine gun to who took down a demon dog to a prissy, useless sidekick who keeps reminding you that you need to protect her all the time. Maximil calls in to whatever agency she's a part of, which is NADA, and is told to go by Bryce's house before going somewhere else. Lots of vague story progression. The game then jumps to another scene where Bryce and his wife Cypher are preparing to fight this absurd-looking frog king demon thing pulled right out of some sort of anime. Bryce reminds me of this just generic, super righteous do-good knight from any video game or storytelling medium possible. He's got the, slightly long, but, not long hair, and he's wearing knight armor, and I'll kill you, demon, for the good of the world, blah blah blah. You fight the demon, as discussed before, and then the game jumps again. Next scene, Maximil is busting down, or rather shooting in, because that makes a whole lot of sense, what apparently is Bryce's door in his apartment. Bryce is now this immortal zombie dude with super strength and the ability to regenerate his entire body in a matter of seconds. This could make sense in the general story and might be explained later on, but it was executed so poorly. Not once was a hint that there was a flashback or any sort of time passing back or forth from one scene to the next, so the multiple Bryces and just the insta-zombie mode didn't really make a whole lot of sense. A game can live on top-notch gameplay or a compelling story. NeverDead tried living on neither, and it didn't work. To make matters worse, in the opening sequences they switched from making Maximil this badass gun agent to trying to over-sexualize her. With the typical camera panning to show the 2 inches of skin visible between her thigh-high or rather hip-high socks and miniskirt, because it makes a whole lot of sense to wear a miniskirt as a combat field agent, to her cleavage and bra showing through her button-up shirt. Suddenly, she was somehow supposed to be sexy. Between the dated graphics and her switch to being a prissy, useless character, this was just a huge turnoff. You know what is sexy, big game publishers? A girl who can actually fend for herself without flashing her private parts or underwear. Since it's not super revealing, I wouldn't have cared too much about the outfit because I didn't really pay attention to it, if they hadn't specifically started trying to sexualize her and focus on it. Overall, NeverDead just felt like a bad joke. With shallow character development and super cliche or troped archetypes visible everywhere, only the illusion of dynamic gameplay, and the whole focus on the game being your ability to dismember yourself repeatedly, I was not amused. Younger people might find this game somewhat funny and therefore more tolerable, but I simply could not. Bryce and Maximil continuously made bad jokes or puns around the in-game tips, and they started to repeat very quickly. If I have to hear, "Come on Bryce, get your head in the game," while I'm rolling around as just my head one more time, I might explode.
Down to a head.
A puzzle-esque game mechanic that became a regular installation in most levels involved the player grabbing 2 ends of power cables in a busted fuse box, conveniently busted in the exact same way on multiple rooms in the same building with power still flowing normally. The electric current became too much and Bryce's body explodes, leaving the player in control of only his head. The player must then roll Bryce's head through an air shaft vent or other small place to get to the other side. Sure, this would have been a really neat mechanic, once. But after the 3rd or 4th time, I just put down the controller. If you think continuously dismembering yourself and listening to bad jokes on a scripted repeat would be a great experience, you might like NeverDead. Otherwise, I'd look to the next game on your list. Herb derp, I exploded my body again. Get your head in the game, Bryce. So funny, LOL.
Ugh, serious motion sickness.
Thanks for watching Epos and Chew. Let's play together. If you enjoyed the video, consider clicking on the screen to contribute to our Patreon campaign. To watch another video, click on one of the video annotations on the screen above. Links are also provided to our website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. See you next time.